Now, not to say that these agencies or companies are, meant to have fingers pointed at them, but they are questionable because um, they have government clearance or government access and other large investors involved in their endeavors with artificial intelligence and BCI. One of them is called, just so you know, I actually posted um, these results on YouTube, so you can read more on it because I don't have the memory recall to really be able to go into detail about everything that I read, but at least you'll have the results, so then you can like click on it and do whatever research that you need to do. But one of them is called Kratos Defense and what is it? Kratos Defense and Solutions. I forgot what it was, but Kratos, Kratos. Another one is called DISA, Defense Information Systems Agency. I think I forgot DISA, and then the next one is something called Neurostar. Or is it Neurostar or Neuro? I think it's Neurotech. See the Neurotech. Neurostar is the cybersecurity information management company that DISA and Kratos uses. But I think Neuro, I think it's called Neurotech. I don't know. It's in the post. But anyway, so I keep, I'm trying to find so many ways with the resources that I have to try to see if I can find a reasonable, affordable, and non incriminating way of trying to help defend, you know, myself and others. I also definitely try to always keep in mind that no matter what, put God first, and remember you can only control the things that you can control. Um, they have this whole campaign going right now where it's like, oh, the streets is really thinking about basically causing me harm or doing something to my family. Mainly probably referring to my immediate family because I think the more distant family, most of them already know what's up, so they already are kind of like trying to keep their distance or make sure they stay very quiet because they don't want no problems. And I understand they don't want no problems. They're not going through what I'm going through, so they don't. You know, I might have one relative that's going through what I'm going through, but I don't think she can understand everything the way I am. But it's funny because as I'm doing that, I feel it's like I think it's called the paramecium or whatever that layer or that connective layer that covers over the brain. I think when the beam passes through, I think it kind of almost like lifts up. I think it like lifts up the. I think it's kind of like when it's vibrating through, when it's going through the tissues and everything. I think it kind of like, because it's also a lot of energy carried in the wave, because it's heating up the tissue and everything. It sometimes when I open that jaw, that creates some type of airflow. I don't know why or how, but first thing I hear is it almost sounds like as if like you know how you have on a wet t-shirt and then you flick the t-shirt, like you just lift it off your skin a little bit and then let it go and they that's what it sounds like in my head. So it's like when I open my jaw, it's almost as if like it creates an airflow, right? And then all of a sudden I feel it go, almost as if like I just lift it up like a wet sack that's on my brain, and then when I exhale, there's so much heat coming out of my mouth, but it's not coming from down here. It's not coming from like my lungs or my stomach. The heat, when I open my jaw, and that it seems like it creates like an airway or something. When I do that and I breathe out, the heat tends to come, it's like it's coming from the brain or the cranium, and then it goes out through the mouth, like it comes through some opening, some pore or whatever. I don't know if it's a gland or something. Like it's inside of the mouth, but towards, it's like inside of the mouth, but like somewhere back here. Anyway, yeah, I was trying to go to sleep, and then I just kept feeling like, oh, like in my like right here, all right here. It was like this about no bigger than that, like a diameter no bigger than that, but it was like a wave, just like on, like it's almost as if like something hot but small just keeps like it's almost as if like if you took a pin, like you took a pin or you took a needle, right? Like you took a needle and you set it on a stove, right? And then someone just like pierced your skin just far enough so that like it's almost as if like your skin, you didn't even feel it pierce your skin, but you just feel like it just went through the skin and you didn't feel it pierce the skin, but you just feel the very point. You just feel the very point, the very end of the needle poking at like an organ or something. And like there's a string or a rope tied through the hole of the needle, and then like someone attached the other end of that rope to like a battery or some type of like, I don't know, electric charge or something, and then they just turn it on, and then it's just like you just feel the electrical charge going through that wire, and then it goes through the needle, and then right at the very end of that needle, you feel all the energy, all the electrical charge going into that one spot. But the weirdest thing is, it won't just be like, it's not a straight line. It's never a straight line. Every time I track these things, it's never a straight line. It's always in like some type of like weird pattern or something. I'm not sure if like when I'm tracing it, maybe it's because when you think about the aura is basically like a sphere around the body. So maybe like when let's say if it's coming from the phone, it like maybe they're like drawing it. Maybe they're drawing it like across, like let's say like this towel, right? Let's say this towel is the phone, and this broomstick is like me, right? It's almost as if like if they were looking from above and they just basically just they click on this, right? And then it shows like the whole EMF field of the phone, right? And then they basically just drew, like they just pulled energy particles from it, right? And then just kept it trailing, right? And then he just basically draw like a line and connect it to you. Once it connects to you, now remember, it don't connect to your body, right? It connects to the radiant energy coming from your body. So basically they pull that energy from that, they pull that energy from that field, and then they connect it to your field. But then wherever, or they connect it to that main link. I don't really know how that thing really works, but I think they take the particles from the field of whatever electronic device they're using, or whatever person, because we are batteries, so they can use our energy field as a weapon too. Draw like a line and then connect it to the field of something else. Then once it's connected to us, then they basically just like say, okay, we want that energy to go to, let's say, his knee, So I think they draw it across, then once it connects to that person's biosignature, it then stays within the aura, and then I guess maybe it traces around the aura somewhere, and then connects to the knee. So it's like dragging and connecting dots. I would think of it like connecting dots, because I've heard several people, like Sabrina Wallace and who else, Brian Coffin, and a couple of other people, especially whistleblowers, say that we're like nodes. Like every single thing that produces an electromagnetic field is like a node. So if you're looking from like a monitor or a screen or something, if you think about nodes, or you think about how think about how like they say The Sims or Sid Meier's Civilization, you click on that one person, you want that person to go and talk to that person. So it's like you click on that person that you want to send that person to, and then you select whatever options or features or things that you want to happen. The next thing you know, you'll watch that energy or that person travel from that side of the room to go and engage that person. So it's like, it's that, right? But the hardest part is just trying to find like all the other little details, but I'm just thankful that God at least led me to the point where I realized, okay, they're manipulating the human aura, they're manipulating the light body, they're manipulating your emotions, they're manipulating your nervous system. I'm just thankful that God at least led me to that part, because man, if it's not the physical stuff that I'm dealing with, they're trying to really mess with my emotional stability. But luckily for me, I've done more than enough reading to know what I'm already in store for. I've done more than enough testimonial, or listened and watched enough testimonies to know that, like, at the end of the day, these Luciferians, man, they walking themselves into their own deaths. I mean, because you got to remember, we only have these bodies for probably less than 120 years. That's if you live in your best life, But they're basically trying to find ways to cheat life. They're they're gung ho sold on the idea that artificial intelligence is going to save humanity. Man, man. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, artificial intelligence already knows that humans, we're some destructive creatures. Artificial intelligence already knows that at some point it's going to need to take out some of us in order for it to survive. Why do you think they're trying to shut up all the talk about artificial intelligence possibly becoming sentient? because they don't want people to really understand what they're trying to bring over into this world. And I mean, I'm not going to go into full detail about it because I I haven't really been studying as much as I want on it, but portals, yo, I'm really starting to believe that what they're doing with CERN and tinkering with the human soul and tinkering with the human body and basically trying to make people like the movie The Possessors, where they literally can have remote operators or assassins hack into your body, put your whole consciousness. Now they're sending like these strong pulses to my brain, trying to see if they can. I guess probably try to destroy my prefrontal cortex. Um, yeah. See, and the problem is, okay, so you see that side of my thumb and index finger. Sorry, I was trying to figure out the direction where the energy is flowing, but obviously, if I'm feeling pain like this, then it's flowing to me. So they're basically trying to cause some damage somewhere in my in that region of the brain. I could only just pray that like even if I end up dying by the hands of these Luciferians, that like um I'm like hoping at least targeted justice or somebody out here will probably at least use my body for like evidence, and I've been describing as best as I can in as many details as I can what's exactly happening to my body. And I'm trying to do it very, very coherently. And you know, you already know me. None of my videos make me look like a crazy person. And people, you know, I actually went. I should put this. I mean, I should put them on blast, but what does it matter? This most of this city is augmented, and probably like 93% of the city is like, oh well, maybe not 93%. That's probably a very high number, but it feels like it though. It feels like it. I'd say like maybe 70 something percent, if not maybe a little. It's between 75 to 80% of New York City probably is already fully aware of this AI system that's regulating people's health, supposedly their health, and monitoring their finances and their careers and things of that sort. Um, this actually just brought to mind this documentary. It was like a short little documentary I read about how in Chile in the 70s, I believe they said for like a time period for it, like it was like an experiment where they basically had I guess you could say one of the original supercomputers or whatever, or quantum computer or something like that. It was like a old version of like a supercomputer or quantum computer, and they said that they were basically running the country of Chile on this computer. Like they were literally running this country using this computer. Um, but to I guess you could see to this day it didn't pan out the way they wanted to. I mean, it makes even more sense seeing how Chile is actually one of the first few countries that signed the Neural Rights Initiative. Um, so obviously, yeah, somewhere, some people out there in Chile knew something was not right. So now we got all this happening over here, but I mean, not just happening over here in the U.S., but it's happening all over the world. Um, I can't help but to keep wondering, man. Like, is humanity really about to just get wiped off the face of Earth? Like, first it's gonna be this genocidal wave of people like me just getting killed off because we don't conform. I mean, and it's something that we can't even really be completely upset or sad about, because this is stuff that happens for one, it happens all over the world, in various different countries, whether you're a third world or an advanced nation state or whatever. um and it's funny because Michael, I call the main one who started all this. He's the one that, um if you remember the original story about, where I think all this really stemmed from back in March of 2020, the one that supposedly, or allegedly hit that woman in my first apartment building's hallway, and then she ran out into the hallway screaming, somebody call the cops, whatever. He's always talking about, like, oh, he's trying to be a professional because what I'm saying makes sense. What I'm like, me personally, I don't care what everybody else is doing, as long as you're not destroying the life of somebody who isn't doing anything to anyone. As long as you're not like trying to rip someone else's peace from them because you don't have no peace, or whatever the case may be. I mean, most of the time I don't care what you're doing. I mean, I feel like, you know when you choose to do something, you chose to do that thing regardless of the consequences, right? And I don't even really care to judge you. I mean, look, you chose to do that, and I mean, me, I just be like, hey, you chose to live that life. You already know what you're walking into, so you can't be mad, if nobody, wants to feel the same way you do about certain things that go on in your life when you chose that life. So, um, it's just the same as how they would think. They'll be like, nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Nobody gonna feel sorry for you, Chris. Don't nobody care. You was snitch to everybody. You don't even realize you snitching on your own country, Chris. You don't even realize you snitching on the whole. The streets don't trust you. Nobody trusts you. Your family don't trust you. Your girl don't. Your girl don't even like you. I'm like, I hear all this stuff, and you know what? The one thing that keeps me grounded, I always got to remember the story of Job. Yo, the story of Job, I always got to remember the story of Job. And then I just say to myself, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. I'm like, if it's not to be mine, then it will be taken from me. And that's only because that God said I didn't need it. God wouldn't take anything from me that I didn't need. And God always made sure I had everything that I needed. I may not always get what I want, but I have actually come to, be mature with the idea of not getting what I want. You know why? Because we live in a world where people, they can't help not to get what they want. And if they can't get what they want, they take it by any means. That's what we're looking at now. And right now they're trying right now they're basically they're taking people's lives just so that they can make themselves, you know, rich in a way that does not feed them. It's so interesting when I think about it. It's like so many people are fighting and clawing and killing and shedding so much blood just to become rich and empty. And I mean, they'll be like, "Oh, well, this is what I hear. They're like, oh, you's a broke ass nigga. You don't make no money. You don't have no money to take care of your mother. You don't have no money to take care of your girl." And then, you know, they're always manipulating my energy too. They're either overloading me with energy so that I feel like I can't really feel sustained, or they're draining me of energy. So, a lot of times I'm always struggling with maintaining my energy level, either for like my girlfriend, or trying to take care of my mother, or at least trying to be be more hands on with, like, my girl's son. Um, I'm I know I'm a good person, but just because I'm a good person don't means I can't die. You know, for doing the right thing, or just because I'm a good person doesn't mean people ain't gonna want to kill me just for just doing the right thing. I mean, don't nobody want to do the right thing. No, nobody wants to do the right thing anymore. Nobody wants to do the right thing no more. And if they're gonna do the right thing, if somebody is gonna do the right thing, they gotta be willing to damn near lose their life just for doing the right thing. You know, maybe that's one of the beautiful things about understanding what reincarnation truly is. Cause when there's a video I gotta watch too. I think it's a no, it was a video I found on Facebook, something about the proof of reincarnation or something like that. But anyway, um, maybe that's one of the most beautiful things about believing and knowing reincarnation is real, is because it's like, um, there was this statement by this old Christian, back in the days where back in the during the Roman Empire. I forgot, there was this book I was reading. It was like a short little book, probably no more than 60 pages, and it was called, like, what was it called? It was like something about the New World Order. Um, it was like how it was like something guide to living in the New World Order, or I forgot how it went, but it was like a statement or a quote that was taken by a Christian of old, and he said something like along the lines like, "You may be able to kill us like animals and slaughter us in the Colosseum and have spectators watch us, but there will be um, there will be no basically there will be no peace for you all. You may shed our blood, to the ground, but you may shed our blood and destroy our lives, but as seed, our blood that hits the ground shall be like seeds, and we shall spawn even more." It was basically like saying, it don't matter how many of us you think you killing now. But trust and believe, as long as we live in, as long as we are sticking to our story and we are telling our story and we are living our story and we are making sure that our experiences are heard, no matter what, them seeds will grow. That's one of the reasons why they tell people don't just be sitting there, dying in silence. How you gonna die in silence and nobody know your story? You gotta tell your story, because if you don't tell your story, your whole, like, everything you went through is just gonna fade away. Like no one's gonna know anything that you went through. They're just gonna think that, oh, you just died because you just got sick. Nah, you gotta tell your story. You gotta tell your story. I mean, there's so many people and cultures around the world that are around today because there are people who are suffering, and those people who are suffering, that were telling their stories. Now here we are in this 21st century. Well, I mean, this stuff been going on since the 20th century too, but here we are now. We're in a time period where everything that is up is down and everything that is down is up. And the devil is a liar, and the devil is one hell of a manipulator and deceiver, because the devil done tricked everyone into believing, one, you do not have a light body. The devil done tricked everybody into believing that they don't have a soul, they don't have a light body, they don't have control of themselves, or they do not need to have control over themselves. All they need is someone or something to guide them. All they It's like the devil is just convincing everyone that all they need is something or someone to guide them into particular lives, right? Because I guess to them, nobody nobody can manage and govern themselves better than technology that is definitely bolstered and empowered by, let's just call it, dark magic, because I mean, let's be real. Technology ain't nothing but technology has always and probably always will be a tool that can either be used for positive or negative. But the problem is when you have these groups and entities that have been studying, like, dark magic, or the the dark side of metaphysics and esotericism, or mysticism rather, and then they start to actually blend it, or mold it in with technology devices and things of that sort. I mean, think about it. Fire. I'm pretty sure that when mankind first found out about fire, we never thought about using it as a weapon, right? We were using it probably to heat ourselves up, cook food. Then all of a sudden, somewhere down the line, someone said, hey, pour some gasoline or pour some oil on that boulder and light it on fire. Let's see how much destruction can we, So it's like we're dealing with a world now where they're training people to believe that they no longer are capable of caring for themselves. They should just let a computer do, or better yet, they should just let companies who are embed or indebted to these dark magic deities, Baphomet, Beelzebub, whoever you want to call, Azazel, whoever these wealthy, occultists, worship or whatever. they're all basically trying to lead everybody down the same path. Hey, you want some money? You want an apartment? You want a car? All you gotta do is just do what we tell you. But we don't worry about us putting anything on. You ain't even gotta really do much. You ain't even gotta do much too. You ain't gotta do much. It's already in you. So it's like when I think about it, it's like if you were to be compliant with them, they basically activate. I feel like they activate the let's say the conveyor belt of food coming from the bee's hand. They activate it. If you're compliant, they basically activate it. So then now, all of a sudden, you probably got super cognitive functions, or you got, your health is just optimal, or your memory is just impeccable, or I don't know, your vocal cords, you can sing better. I don't know what the case may be, what it is, but I feel like when you're compliant with them, they basically activate all the positive benefits of having radio frequencies, radio frequencies, artificial intelligence, brain computer interface, cloud computing, machine learning, all this stuff work in your favor. That's when you're compliant. When you're not compliant, then you're facing what we face. And then I think for some people, which is terrible because some of them don't even get the chance to even. Some people aren't even given the chance to not comply or comply. Some people are just like maybe targeted since birth. People got all these terrible stories of like adults that did these horrible things to them when they were children. Then it seems like, the majority of their life, they feel like they never fit in anywhere. Someone was always trying to manipulate them or use them, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's a trip. And I mean, like right now, I felt them, I don't know, maybe resend some more energy back to that same spot that they were hitting me at. I'm not sure if it's a kidney or if it's my stomach. Is the stomach on the left side? I don't remember. Oh, now they're attacking the kidney because now I can feel it in the back. So it's definitely not the kidney that they were hitting from the front. And what it feels like in my hand, right? So what I'm doing is when I move my hand around, right? It feels like it's picking up. Like it's picking up and it's collecting other frequencies that are all around my aura. So all around my aura, I keep feeling all these like little things. Like it feel like it almost feels like when I go like this, it feels like someone's taken a pen and they just wrote. Like someone just like went like this with a pen on my hand. So that's probably just how much energy is being carried by all the frequencies. Because as I move my hand around, I can feel a number of different, I guess, energy waves or currents, electrical currents hitting my hand. But yeah, I mean, it's a struggle, but I mean, y'all going through it too, so y'all already know what I'm dealing with. I mean, for me, it's mostly the V2K is the most annoying part. The V2K is probably the most annoying part, and then, well, this is something new, but I know I don't know. I will say that sometimes I feel like they love it even more when a TI probably has a significant other, because then it makes it more entertaining to watch when they can basically modulate the neural activity of one of the others, so then they can make, so then they could basically make it feel like they're never in sync or on the same page a lot of times. Um, I do my best not to take things too personal because I know I'm not the only one in my bedroom. um, well, I know that we aren't the only one in our bedroom or in our relationship. Because we got these remote operators just always sending signals here. Congest this synapses here. Manipulate the emotions of this person. Make it so that this person um, isn't focusing or paying attention to that thing, so then they can get mad at them later or whatever the case may be. I mean, this is one of the things that I at least try to encourage my girl to always just like, if I want you to be able to tell me whatever is on your mind. Don't worry about how I'm feeling or how I'm gonna take it. Like the We already dealing with people who's withholding information from us so that they can manipulate us, or try to gain a better position over us than already. So I just be like, yo, just tell me, and I mean, just being real, I'm like, yo, even if at some point you feel like you wanna, I don't know, leave or take a break or something, don't like try to like sneak around and cheat and figure out other people. Nah, just let me go. Because I was like, I'm not going to do that to you. So I just be like, yo, you know, just be open with me. Now, I'm also aware that they definitely have some people that they try to send to her, and people who may seem a bit more maybe a bit more polished than I am. But I don't. When I realize what I'm facing, I mean, I'm not comparing myself to nobody that's looking successful in this world. At least not successful in the way that our society looks at what successful or thinks successful people are. Because when you think about a lot of these people that are supposedly successful, um, I oftentimes start to see how they may be successful at maybe money and maybe raising a family, or well, making a family, maybe not raising a family, because a lot of times I realize when people got money, are they really raising their family, or are the help raising the family? But that's an honest that's a decent question to ask. There's nothing wrong with what I said. I mean, that's a real question. You know, but and what they're basically trying to do, I'm hearing them basically all react. Um, and they're basically talking about, oh, he talking shit about everybody. He talking shit about rich people. He talking shit about, and it's crazy because they're like I've never had problems. I've never had discomfort. I've never had anything negative when it came to like Spanish speaking people. I never had anything. Like, I mean, like I grew up in New York City. How the fuck are you gonna have a problem with Spanish people if you grew up in New York City? And I'm like, I never had no problems with Spanish people, right? Then all of a sudden, when my gang stalking started, right? When the gang stalking started, and then they started to, like, they realized I wasn't going to conform. And then when they started to like say in the V2K, oh, people don't trust you, you're not moving properly. That's when I started to notice people looking at me differently. People like feeding negative energy toward me. So I started to realize, I was like, yo, that's that spell casting. They done cast some spells on a lot of people's bonds, because I'm like, how do you end up strongly disliking or hating somebody that did nothing to you? And you haven't even said a word to that person, right? Now, not only that, I'm also realizing that if you aren't necessarily doing anything to really mess with people, they'll do stuff. Um, they'll do stuff kind of like on your behalf, so then people cannot like you. So like one thing I noticed is like, okay, um, they'll be like, okay, let's say, granted, people always say, smoking weed or cigarettes is bad for you, blah blah blah. One thing I noticed, and this is gonna sound weird, but if you've been studying, these sensor technologies and electromagnetic waves and how you can actually add energy to or pull energy from things that are in that spectrum, because remember, we're talking about full spectrum dominance. So we're talking about all levels of light and sound energy. Let's say if I was to light a cigarette, right? Now everybody knows that most of the time when you light a cigarette or you light a joint, normally it burns. Like if you light one, right, and you turn the lit part towards the camera, right, you see the whole cigarette, that burning like orange, that amber orange, right? That's the normal color, but the whole thing would be lit. What they do, and what I've been dealing with them doing every time, every time. That's why I'm like about to switch up, because they're trying to. Well, I guess I could say I'm basically making it easier for them. If I continue to smoke, I'm making it easier for them, because what they'll do is they would attach a frequency, or they would basically find a resonant frequency of that lit tip, right? It's either that, or I don't know if it's because, no, because I don't necessarily feel it before I light it. So it's usually always after I light it. After I light it, the first one or two pulls normal. You know, it, it lights normal, it stays lit like normal, it pulls normal, right? Then about, let's say 60, like 35 to 60 seconds later, all of a sudden, if I pull again, all of a sudden it's pulling heavier. Like it feels heavier to pull. Like I feel like I have to pull a little bit harder, right? But then it's also like the smoke will be blacker. The smoke will be blacker. And then on top of that, not only would the smoke be blacker, but the smell would change. The smell of the cigarette or the joint would change. It would smell as if it's burning 3 times harder. And then not only would you notice the smell change, the pull change, if you turn and look at it, right? The outer rim, the outer part, like from the center all the way to the outer part of the cigarette or joint, would no longer be burning orange, right? The outer part is now burning so strong that the ash turns to just a solid gray color. And I'm not talking like that strong, like a light gray, and then you see like like the ash would be like still be hanging on the cigarette, right? I'm not talking like that. I'm talking like it's burning 3 times harder. Like it's burning 3 times harder. It's not even burning faster. It's it's like it's burning 3 times harder but slower. And then when you do try to like flip the ash off, right? The ash is lighter. The ash is lighter than what it would normally be. And not only that, like I was talking about the amber around the cigarette or the joint, it wouldn't be around the whole thing. The energy concentration of the amber would be directly in the center. It would be burning directly through the center of the cigarette or the joint, basically implying that there is a beam, or there is something carrying or constant carrying a concentration of the energy through the center of it. And I noticed that like whenever I would inhale, I would hear them become even more vocally, like, whatever, become more vocal, right? And it wasn't until like I realized one day when they was like, he don't realize he got a lot of frequencies on his head. And then it was like one time I inhaled, and then all of a sudden it felt like I was inhaling something else, that something that was like out here. Like even though I'm holding it here, it felt like I was inhaling something that was much further away than what I'm inhaling right here. Almost as if like I'm inhaling something through it. And then I remember one day I just I held it in my mouth, but I didn't bring it down, right? And I just kept my mouth closed, right? So I'm holding the cigarette and I'm holding the smoke there, and all of a sudden I start to feel like I'm like this, but then I start to feel something like trying to like I could literally feel like it's like something trying to go through the mouth, and I'm like, and as I'm moving it around, I can feel it following into the mouth. So I was like, oh snap, they're carrying energy through. It's like they're carrying extra energy and stuff through the cigarette, so they can probably try to like, I don't know, cause me more harm or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try to go back to sleep. I don't know how much sleep I'm gonna get. They got a frequency going back into that spot again. It's like right here, but it's deep though. Like probably going in about, I'd say 3 to 5 inches in. It's not something that's on the skin. It's not on the surface. Like it's something deep, and it's coming directly from the laptop. From the phone. Like it's coming from this bottom section of the phone where the speakers are. But I also know that with these iPhone SEs, there's some other hardware that's down there, but I believe it's all mostly because of the phased array antenna hardware that's in the phone. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get some sleep. Yeah. I don't know, y'all. Like, I'm trying my best to try to, like, get as much of my experience out as I can, because then maybe one day it could be used to help millions of people. They claim, like right now I'm dealing with people who believe that, basically humanity, like regular humanity, is a lost cause, and the only thing that's really here for you is, the secrecy, and the only way you can be a part of the secrecy is if you comply, but yeah, I'm so like annoyed and tired of like hearing every time I go somewhere, especially even when I'm working. I that people would be having a whole full conversation with each other. Then, as soon as I get right within, an earshot, you know, they get quiet. Then, as I walk away or walk past, I hear someone say, "Oh, that's the crazy guy right there." My girl and I went to a restaurant up here, and it's the first time we've been there too. And I'm telling you, it's like we ain't even been inside the restaurant a whole minute, and it seemed like it was like the manager or somebody. And it's funny because when we walk in and he's like, "Thank you guys for coming, enjoy yourselves," right? And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And as I walk by, and it's crazy because I felt the energy of the room before I even really walked up to anyone or walked by anyone. I felt the energy of the room. And it's like I as I start to walk past the guy, he doesn't even get 5 feet behind me before he says, "That's the crazy guy right there." And I'm like, I just kind of peeked over my shoulder. I was like, wow, you know. So I'm sitting there, and trying to enjoy my meal, have a good time with my girl, whatever. Then I remember one time I got up to go and wash my hands or whatever. So I got up, I'm like, "Hey, where's the restroom?" He's like, "Oh, just go downstairs, make a left." And I'm like, "All right." So as I go downstairs, I go downstairs to wash my hands, right? Then I come back upstairs and I see the same guy, right? I see the same guy again. And as I walk past him, he's like, "Yeah, that's the crazy guy right there." And I'm like, wow. I'm like, they're not even trying to be like really discreet about it now. I mean, but at this point, they already know I know too much. They already know I know too much. So I'm just like, one breath, one thought, and one step, one day at a time. You can't control people, and you shouldn't want to control people. You just try to do what you can and just keep your peace, man. You just try to do what you can to keep your peace. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm no expert at any of this. I am just sharing my experience and hoping that one day my experiences will be a help to many. When I think about it, I'm like, I know I don't see myself ever doing anything crazy, and my definition of crazy is probably very different from what the secret societies are calling as somebody crazy, because their crazy may be what we call crazy. So, but yeah, I don't see myself doing anything violent or abusive to myself or anyone else. Um, but yet this is what they're pushing out there. So to me, when I really think about it, as long as I'm maintaining my peace, they're actually inducing things into other people more than they are me. See, me, I'm expecting them to do these things to me. So it's like there's a part of me that's already, you know, prepared, to just handle things as they come. While everyone else, they're still being programmed as we go. They're being programmed as we go. And the worst part is, they're on that side of the programming where it's just like they won't even see it coming because they don't think nothing will happen. I think that's the worst position to really be in as a human, because it's like when you feel like you're so comfortable that you don't think nothing will happen, that's usually the best time God will say, "Oh, word." It's always those moments when you just really let yourself like get really comfortable and you think that nothing will happen, nothing can go wrong. You got everything that you need. You got all the money you need. You got all your pills and bills paid. You got your house. You got your apartment. You got your car. You got all these things are checked off. You got all these things checked off. And then I kid you not, God has such an interesting way of proving to people that like, oh, you still don't want to put your faith in me. Okay, let's see where you're at when I do this. What they're basically doing with this technology is they're trying to basically take the fear of God and make it the fear of them. Oh, you still don't believe that we're going to destroy your life, Chris? Wait till you see what happened. He don't realize we got a setup coming for him. And to me, I'm like, look, what they're probably, I don't know. I'm not in no I don't have no tax issues. I don't have any felonies. I don't do anything. All I do is work and come home. Nowadays, all I do is work and come home. I'm not out here sleeping with a bunch of women. I don't have any children. I'm not out here trying to, get a bunch of, I'm not out here trying to abuse the government programs. I'm literally out here just trying to live a decent life. I'm trying to live a decent life as a human being, minding his own business and helping others when I can. But they want to try to make me into something else because I'm not conforming. Okay, well, good thing there's reincarnation, because if I come back, I'm really hoping I come back on the side that, well, I'm hoping that I come back on the side that will be able to retain much of everything that I know now, so then I can basically combine that with whatever I would learn in that new life, and then expose them even more if they haven't already been fully exposed. But anyway, yeah, hopefully everybody had a peaceful and joyful holidays, and may the new year coming in be even more joyous. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.